Baba is asking us to take care of ourselves, and Baba is giving us all the knowledge that we need to take care of ourselves. And Baba tells us that it is your duty to take care of yourself. Yes, so when you're on a battlefield, then what do? You take care of yourself. Nobody takes care of you. Baba is training us to be the best warrior, win over Maya. Baba is teaching us how to win over Maya, how to develop the powers and the strength to win over Maya. But we have to build that strength and be a winner on this battlefield. Because it is a battlefield, is it not? Yes, all day it's a battlefield. And it's not a battlefield because because people or situations are our enemies. No. It's our own vices. It's our own weaknesses that make us lose the battle. And Baba tells us that I cannot remove you from the battlefield just like that. It is your part to be on this battlefield. Yes, it would be very nice and sweet if all situations and everybody around us would be very sweet and very nice to us. But in the face of whatever unfavorable circumstances, and in the face of all this antagonistic behaviors, in the face of the vibrations of jealousy and anger and violence and whatnot around you, Baba today also says that it's a very, very dirty world. And in this dirty world, there is killing and there is violence and there is so many other things. But what you have to do is not just protect yourself physically, but you have to protect yourself spiritually, which means you have to stay. You don't have to lose your happiness or peace over anything. And while living in this world, maintaining that state of happiness and peace is a big challenge. And you see, happiness and peace are the children of purity. So purity is the mother of happiness and peace. And only when you are able to maintain your purity and not react and not engage in impure karma, will you be able to maintain your happiness and purity. So the bigger challenge is to maintain your purity in this big world. And in this world, if you are able to stay pure, stay virtuous all the time, then you will not only protect yourself from the vibrations around you or the influence of the behaviors around you, but in the state of purity and in the state of being virtuous and being very knowledgeful, you will also be able to create punya karma for yourself, and you will be able to have that balance with you, which when you carry, you will be going to the deity world and getting a good position there. So Baba says all of the ingredients that you need for that I am giving you, but you have to imbibe that, you have to do as I say, and you have to take care of yourself. And the most important thing is purity, because purity is power, purity is the mother of peace and happiness. So, how do you stay pure, or how do you take care of your virtues? So, what is the state of purity? Purity is the original state of the soul. So, when there is purity, then all the divine virtues emerge. And when there is impurity, then all the vices emerge. So, Baba says that you have to become Sato Pradhan, or you have to become absolutely pure. And the most important thing, the most important aspect of changing from Tamo Pradhan to Sato Pradhan, or from absolutely impure to absolutely pure, is to remember Baba. Yes. So, and you see, what I have understood on this journey is, if you want to remember Baba, you have to always pay attention to being antarmukhi. You have to always pay attention to being a little detached from your senses. So, you see, if your senses are absorbed in the vibrations of this old world, if your ears are always listening to stuff of the old world, and can you hear those voices ringing in your head when you sit to meditate? So, whatever you're hearing of the old world, when you sit to remember Baba, you start remembering all of that. Yes? Whatever scenes you have seen in the whole day, whatever sounds you've heard in the whole day, they keep popping up in your awareness when you try to sit in yoga. So it is very important to keep your sense organs clean and pure. So if you allow your mind and intellect to be absorbed in the scenes and the sounds and the tastes and the sensual pleasures of the old world, then your mind and intellect do not have the subtlety to connect to Baba. Yes, do you understand that? And if you don't stay a little, if you don't practice purity of your senses, if you don't refrain from indulging your senses in the sensual pleasure of this old world, then it becomes very difficult to remember Baba and be pure. And I will tell you one thing. So these days, people smoke and they do many things. And there was this one brother, and he couldn't even observe things that were around him. So, he couldn't, he was not even able to see what chair to sit on, or, he was not able to make very basic decisions like whether it is cold or hot, or whether the chair is fine or not. And his intellect was not working at all, even for general decisions. And why? Because you see, he was always smoking something, drinking something, all the other stuff in the world. And if your mind and intellect are so clouded by the false feelings and experiences that you are creating. Now you see, it's not even a sensual experience. These days people are messing up with your minds and your brains, and people are smoking and drinking things that are messing up with your whole brain. So just think about such a person and whether they will be able to meditate. That's not possible. And especially, this thing these days, people are saying, and there was a whole group of young people, and they had come to the center, and they kept telling me that, Didi, this thing is not drugs, it is just, it is legal, and it is completely okay to take this. And I asked him, why do you say it is okay and it is legal and this stuff? So they said, because it's harmless. So I said, okay, it is harmless. Okay, even if I agree it's harmless, is it useful? So they said, yes, it's useful. So I said, what better quality of life has it added to you? So they said, we work better, we don't remain stressed, our concentration has improved. So I said, really, if I give you a task right now, will you be able to concentrate and do it? And I gave them the task of cleaning the hall, and they couldn't do any bit of it. They were also, fatigued with the body and their minds, and they did not have any, they were not up to it. So, do you understand that these things, so whatever is messing up with your brain and your mind, of course, that will not help you meditate, or that will be that will pull you down from your state of alignment with Baba. But even what you do with the senses has an effect on your connection with Baba, because Baba is the ocean of purity. So today Baba tells us that you have to remove your defects, and Baba mentions some defects that, although the list is very long, but Baba mentions in particular some defects. So we will first listen to that. So today Baba says that if you smoke and eat dirty food, that is also a defect. And the first thing that defect does is, it doesn't allow you to remember Baba. So if you eat food which is not cooked and served in the remembrance of Baba, then whether it is vegetarian, non-vegetarian, that is also, that has to be taken care of first. That, it's not food that is smeared with the vibration of killing and vibration of violence. That's one thing. And the second thing is, not even all vegetarian food is consumable. You have to also pay attention to whether the food is cooked and served in the remembrance of Baba, because that food which is not infused with the remembrance of Baba is definitely infused with some other vibration. Because you see that, there is a saying in Hindi, "Jaisa ann vaisa man, jaisa pani vaisi vani." So as is the food, so is the mind, and as is the water, so is the speech. And I sometimes feel, why are people so bitter mouthed, and why can't you just speak sweetly? You could say the same thing sweetly, softly, but if you look at it, there is a connection between what you eat and drink and how your mind works and how you speak. And there is a definite, genuine connection between these two. And if you are not experienced of that connection, then you have to experiment and experience it. If you experiment with this, with this strict discipline, that I will only eat food that is prepared and served in Baba's remembrance. And if you don't have a BK family around you, then you have to take the responsibility of cooking every meal and offering it to Baba as bhog and eating it. The meal could be very simple. It could be fruits, dry fruits, whatever, but have it, cook it in Baba's remembrance and offer it as bhog to Baba and then eat. And whenever you drink anything, where it could be just a simple glass of water. Never consume it without remembering Baba and giving drishti to it. And if you do this one simple practice, I will guarantee you, you will feel the difference in the state of your mind and in your, in how you speak and how you use your mouth in 1 month. And I will tell you one thing, there is this one brother, and he was sharing with me that you see, children face many challenges. And when he came to Baba, he took up purity. So he accepted that, I have to eat pure food and drink water in the remembrance of Baba. But then what happened is, after some 3-4 years of practice, he just fell into bad company. And you see, Baba always tells you that company is very important and company can drown you. And then he had this company where there was a brother, and every time he was always in his company all the time. It was related to his business. And then what would happen is, that brother would keep eating stuff from outside, and he would keep telling him that why don't you eat, and keep passing comments at him. And this brother, he had not very strong willpower. So what he did is, he started again eating with his friend. And then he came after 7-8 days, and he said, Didi, my mental state is not what it used to be. So I asked him, are you doing anything different? So he said, yes, I'm eating with my friend, and I'm very ashamed of it. So I said, no, it's not about being ashamed or being guilty. It's about a law. Do you understand that Baba is not teaching us morality. Baba is not telling you that you're a bad person if you do this, you're a good person if you do this. Baba is telling us very simple spiritual laws, that the world is patit, vicious. And do you know what goes on in the minds of people these days? You don't even know what goes on in the minds of people you live with. And if you were to find out, you will be very surprised. And there are moments when you figure out, don't you? There are moments when you figure out what goes on in the minds of people with whom you live under one roof also. And sometimes it's so startling, it's so surprising. And then just look at all the people in the world, and you don't know what their journeys are like, and what their minds are like, and what their sanskaras are like. And Baba says, food and water carry the vibration of the world and people who cook it. So Baba says, that's why you have to pay attention to this Shrimat, that, one is, you cannot kill and eat. If you kill and eat, that food is filled with the vibrations of violence. So can you consume that violence and stay non-violent? It doesn't work like that. And if you understand these laws, then you understand that impurity, a big part of impurity is eating dirty food. And dirty food doesn't mean, food that is cooked unhygienically only. So, if you cook meat hygienically, it doesn't become clean food. It is dirty food. So Baba says that you have to pay attention to not taking dirty food, or this alcohol and smoke and stuff like that. And when Baba says it, sometimes, when I'll tell you one thing, when I came to Gyan, because I was very less experienced in the impurity of the world. So I did not know that women also smoke or women also drank alcohol. So at that time, whenever I gave class to a brother, I would tell them that you shouldn't smoke and you shouldn't have alcohol. But I never told any lady that you shouldn't smoke and not take alcohol, because I didn't know they could do it. But later on, I figured out that no, people are doing that. And then I had to give the same session to all the women also. So Baba says that, and whenever Baba says something, he knows who he's talking to. And sometimes, in the Murli, when we are not that, when we are not that Anubhavi, then I sometimes feel, oh, this nobody would be doing. But then who is the Murli, who is Baba talking to through the Murli? His own children, and he knows his children. That's why he's saying these things. So there are children who are supposedly Brahmins, but they are drinking and smoking and eating dirty food. So Baba is cautioning all of those children that if you do that, then you cannot become pure, you cannot remember Baba. And the first thing is, this basic purity is needed for remembrance, and remembrance burns internal sins and makes you completely pure. But if you don't have this basic purity, then you can't even remember Baba, because your mind and intellect is not in a subtle stage, it's in a very gross stage. And in that gross stage, you cannot experience Baba, you cannot feel Baba. So Baba tells us this thing about purity of food, and not smoking, not eating dirty food. So this is the first thing that Baba tells about purity. Then Baba tells us the next thing about purity, which is when you use the washroom, when you go for, when you clean your bowels, then you have to, when there is bowel movement, then you have to take bath. Baba says that's, and you just think about it. You see, if you touch something impure with your hands, will you just go about it without, washing it with soap? No, but your body, your whole body, you just wash it with water, and then after the bowel movement, you're just washing your body with water and you're just leaving it like that. No, it's impurity. So you have to take a bath. You have to take a proper bath and clean yourself with water and soap. So that is necessary. And Baba says that that is also physical impurity, and you cannot connect with Baba without paying attention to this physical purity. And this is a very big Srimad that all Brahmins follow and must follow. And this is the second thing. And then Baba tells us that there are also acts of impurity. So when you fight with somebody, when you speak abusive words, these are acts of impurity. Yes, so it's not like, you are keeping your body clean and you're eating pure food and that's enough. But you also have to pay attention to what are your actions like. If you're quarreling and fighting and, your actions are that of giving sorrow to somebody, that is an act of impurity. And you have to watch out for your actions. And then Baba tells us that being vicious, that's the most, that's what impurity is all about. And you see, being vicious is a very big term and it means so many things, because there are at least 10 vices that we talk about: lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, fear, jealousy, criticism, complaint, competition, and then laziness, and then hatred. So all of these are vices, and if you look at each vice, there are many forms of those vices also. So Baba tells us that whenever you think, speak and act under the influence of vices, that's impurity. So you have to remove the vices from within. Now you see, the vices cannot be removed the way you remove impure food from your plate. In order to remove those vices, you have to draw in the love and light from Baba. And only when you draw in the love and light from Baba, you will be able to remove the vices that are lurking inside. So those vices also have to be removed. And then Baba tells us that there are incognito sins and cognito sins. So Baba says there are gupt pap and pratyaksh pap. So there are vices that show themselves up and you and other people can see it. But there are other vices which remain hidden and which nobody can see. But those vices also lead to pap. So whenever you are acting under the influence of those vices, they are also increasing your account of sin. And you see that sometimes we pay attention to being, to being pure in an apparent way. So we appear to be that who has a pure lifestyle. But then what about the vices that are hidden? Now there are two kinds of gupt pap. So one is that which you commit privately. So you are acting under the influence of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, and then you're performing acts in privacy. Yes, people harm themselves in privacy, people perform acts of lust in privacy, people perform other acts in privacy, which are all performed because you're vicious. And nobody knows that. Do I know what you do in your private moment? I don't know. Nobody knows that. Even people who live with you don't know. But even if nobody knows, it is still increasing your account of sin. And you see, whatever you do may not be visible, but that's creating an account of sin. But when that account of sin will reveal itself, it will be completely visible. And you will have to deal with it. So don't do anything just because nobody is watching. Let me act out of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. That's not the way it should work. And then there are other acts which are subtle acts, which only you know. Yes, so what are those acts? See, your mind is creating impure feelings for somebody. Yes, or your own self, your thoughts and your feelings are impure, and that is an act which is amounting to sin, but that's not revealing itself in the world. So nobody knows what you're thinking, but your thoughts are impure. Your thoughts are anger based, ego based, lust based. So all those thoughts are also creating sukshma pap. And then you see that there are sins like when you are coming into interaction, and especially this happens with jealousy. So when you are jealous of somebody, apparently you are very sweet to them, and apparently you you come into interaction as a well-wisher, but you're harboring feelings of harming somebody, and you're harboring feelings of, ill wishes, and you're harboring feelings of, not the feelings that a Brahmin should have. And these feelings, when you come into interaction, these are all the impure feelings that are creating your account of sin. And I remember, there was this one Mata, and she told me that my mother-in-law always favors my sister-in-law, and I don't like it, and all day I have bad feelings for her. And Baba says, have Shubh Bhavna, Shubh Kamna, but I'm not able to have that. So I told her, you see, your mother-in-law favors your sister-in-law, and that's a situation which is there in the drama. And you have to accept the accuracy of drama. And what you're feeling is jealousy. What is jealousy? Jealousy is when you say that I am entitled to have that which the other person has, and you do not accept the drama, and you don't understand that you are not entitled to anything that you don't have. Yes, when people are jealous, they say, I am entitled to have what you have and you are having it. So I am right in feeling the feelings that I am feeling against you. But that's not okay. And people say, you are wrong and you are taking away my entitlement, and I'm right, and that's why I'm creating impure feelings. But this is just plain jealousy. And because of that jealousy, people keep harboring deep, impure feelings within themselves. And these feelings are creating their destiny. So you have to be very careful about your thoughts and feelings and your drishti and your attitude, because even if nobody comes to find out, because you may be acting like the wolf for several years, but you're creating the destiny of a wolf, you're not creating the destiny of a deity. So you have to take care of these things. And it's very interesting that I have seen people living with other souls in the Lokik family, in the Alokik family for years together, and harboring these ill feelings because of jealousy inside. And let me tell you, Prakashmani Dadiji, she used to conduct very regular classes on jealousy. Prakashmani Dadiji's classes, if you listen to and read, Prakashmani Dadiji used to always underline this thing of jealousy. And just think about how people, how you camouflage your jealousy by saying that, no, that's my entitlement and you are having it, and you are wrong in doing it, and I'm right in creating these feelings, and you keep harboring that, and these are all creating the subtle pap in you. So Baba says you have to take care of not only the pratyaksh pap, not only the pap that is visible, but you also have to take care of this, this pap that you create on the subtle level. And Baba says that you have to use these two, together, taking care of your physical purity and whatever has to be taken care on the external level, so that you can remember Baba. And when you make the effort to remember Baba and keep, increasing your chart of remembrance, then Baba will purify you from within. And in remembrance of Baba, just experience that Baba is purifying you. and clean yourself inside out so that we can become Sato Pradhan. And here also we can be safe from Baba, from Maya, and we can go to our new world, which is a Sato Pradhan world. Okay, Om Shanti.